Okay, we are back. We are back. So again, thank you so much. I think you're gonna love this show. So this artist, she's a great artist, and she's got a beautiful, really beautiful. She's really spectacular. Her name is Yolanda Barnes. And if you want to buy some of her work, you can go to her website, but go to her Facebook page. That's really where you will find her. She should be popping on in a second right now. Her name is Yolanda. I want you to listen. I want you to just sit back and just relax and just because it's so good to hear from other artists. Hello, Yolanda. I am so glad to see you. I apologize. That was
No,
me.
part, I thought it was me. I was going back and forth. I said, I think I missed it, but so glad to see
I
you.
don't know. I'm so glad to see you. Oh my gosh. I've been boasting on you. I've been telling all my friends
Oh my
about you.
goodness.
And I'm really, really just very moved and very honored to have another beautiful soul of an artist on. It,
Wow.
it gives me very great pleasure. But I want to ask you,
Thank you.
I want to get to it.
Okay.
So how did you start painting? Like what led to that?
That is a very interesting story. So, so I've always sketched. Even as a little girl, I would draw pictures and try to draw my family members and things like that. But I never really called myself an artist. I just thought it was something that I like to do. And so
Yes.
I would say around 2013, and this is true. This could be verified. I was going to like a Bible study or something at church. It was still daylight, and a neighbor actually, someone set out a little small white garbage can, and it looked like there was an artist palette like sticking up out of it. And so when I passed by, I thought, now that looks like an artist palette. Why would someone throw something like that away? And I thought, you know what? If that's there, when I come back, I'm going to pick it up. And so about 3 hours later, it was dark, which that was good for me because I didn't want anyone to see me, getting us off the curb. Pulled over, picked it up, took it home. But when I got it home, not only, and I still have this palette, not only was there a brand new um, palette in there, but there was also this canvas bag full of brushes. And
What?
there were palette knives and like hardly used. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe that's a sign that I should try to paint. I should try to paint.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I got up enough nerve to go to Michael's, and I was in the artist aisle feeling like a fish out of water. I was hoping no one saw me because I didn't know what I was doing. I got some paints, and I painted my first picture. I painted myself on a beach, and I didn't know how to mix colors or anything. That's what I did. And then
And what year was that?
that was around, I want to say 2013. Yeah,
Oh
about
my
7 years
gosh.
ago.
So what led to that? I mean, because I know we talked a little bit and you said that there were some events that really led to
Yeah,
you just
as far as
wanting
me
to
picking
paint.
it back up again. Because in 2013, I painted those few pictures. But if, keep in mind, I'm not calling myself an artist at all. I'm just this thing I'm doing, trying to, this thing I'm doing, right? So I was still working in corporate. And then a couple of years later, then I went through an unexpected divorce. Then my mother died. Then my job surplus, but I just went ahead and retired early. And as part of my divorce, I just moved out of state. I relocated. And then right after the relocation, my job ended and my mother died. Just bam, bam, just like that.
Oh
And
my
that's
gosh.
when the
Wow.
the whole art thing became really intense. So it was like
Really?
3 years after I found the brushes on the curb. That was my way of grieving. That's it was just coming out. And then I had all these losses, didn't know what to do with them,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
that's how it began to come out. And probably the last 2 years, I really confidently start saying, I am an artist.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. I know that takes a lot for us to make that step to actually claim that, and
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
yeah.
I totally know what you mean.
Hmm.
But so you found the paints in 2013.
13, around in there. I get confused whether it's 2012 or 13. If I look at one of my old paintings, I didn't start dating my paintings until a few years ago, but it was around 2012 or 2013 when I found the paints. Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so in 2016,
2000.
you got
Hmm.
divorced.
I
And
divorced in
how long were you
2000.
married?
I was married for 36 years. I divorced in 2015, moved in 2016. Job ended 2016. Mom died at the
Oh,
end of 2016.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you and I both know, I mean, when we lose our moms, it's losing our cheerleading squad. It's really
Yeah.
very it's intense. And
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a law that you just don't need to do nothing for a year,
I agree.
and because you can't. I mean, I did things, but I don't remember half of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just really in a
so
fog. I was just in a fog.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Hmm.
And I don't even know when. I mean, I think I might be getting a glimmer of looking now,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that happened, your mom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How did you so to deal with everything you started
I
painting?
started painting. I started painting. Actually, the painting behind me is called Peppermint. That is
Oh
the
wow.
first painting. I did that for my mother because I painted this little doodad when I got down here and I sold it for $50. I had never sold a painting in my life, right? And I called my mother. This was like a couple of months before she passed. And I said, Mom, I sold a painting. I sold a painting. And she said, oh, that makes me feel like peppermint on the inside. I said, Peppermint? What's that mean? And she said, refreshing. It makes me feel so refreshing. And
Wow, I
so
love that.
after her funeral, when I came home, the painting, I painted the painting, is called Peppermint. And that's how the more I would say in-depth expression of visual art began to come out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I really want to preface that I feel that it was very like sort of a fluke that I met you because Faith Green
Yes.
recommended me to you, and I was
Yes.
like, "Who's Yolanda?" And I'm like, "Okay."
That's such
And
a
then I
blessing.
looked on your yes, I looked on your page, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
Mm,
And just to talk to you, everything that you've been through. So you went. So your mom passed,
yes.
and again, I am so sorry.
Thank you.
Please, yeah. And then you got a divorce from a 36-year-old marriage. Did you say?
Yes. Yeah. A year before my mother passed, I've been married for 36 years, and I'll just say I had to get divorced unexpectedly because of a set of circumstances, some dishonesty, some things that came about. It was some long-term things that were going on, but there was no way but out. I had to make a decision to.
And so getting out was making that decision to make the decision. I gotta go. Is that it?
Yes,
I gotta leave this
yes,
marriage.
yes, absolutely.
Wow, wow. That takes a lot of courage.
It was kind of, I would say that the Lord, I was ignoring the promptings
I
that you
know.
and
I know.
because of when my father is a pastor, when you have a religious background, it's like, oh no, you don't do certain things, you just put up with things and you endure, and I was just gonna suffer for the long haul, and and to my surprise, I've been learning a lot about God's character, and he actually led me to understand that I needed to get out of my emotions and put on what was called my business hat, my thinking hat. I needed to think. And so, because it had nothing to do with feelings and emotions, I needed to make some decisions about my life if I was going to survive mentally, physically, emotionally. If I was going to survive, I needed to listen to him. And even though it was contrary to all of the things I had been taught, it was the best thing for me.
I
Yeah.
understand because all the things that you've been taught, you stay in it
Yep.
to the end,
Yep.
no matter what
No matter what.
happens. But when you're in it and it's crazy, you're like, is this the craziness that I'm
Yeah.
supposed to stay in? It
Yes.
doesn't make sense,
No.
right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes.
make sense. And I was a first lady at that time in a church. So there were all these trappings and
Wow.
imagery and things to
Yes.
try to maintain what will people think. But
Yes.
I want to say this, that prior to all of this, I kind of went through a drought spiritually. And the Lord prompted me to, I would go out on my patio, this little tiny patio every day. And he would say, come see me. I would hear this little nudge, like, come see me. And I didn't have anything to say. It's just like, what? And but after a while, I began to like hear little things. I just began to journal and just talk about the clouds. It was just talk to God. And I believe that season prepared me for when I had to make the hard decisions, to hear his voice, to know that I wasn't crazy. I had people saying, God doesn't talk to people like that. God, but I was in a situation where I needed to have something unusual. I needed to communicate with God in a way that it was unmistakable that it was his voice. And
Wow.
I believe he prepared me for that season to actually be
Yes.
prompted and to hear correctly. Yeah,
Yes. Okay, so I commend you. I commend you. I salute you.
thank
I do.
you.
Um, so you had to make this decision. So you had to decide, I'm gonna gather up all my paint supplies, everything, and I'm just gonna, did you just move or go across the country or
Well, I was
go
I
to another?
I was in Illinois, and so after my divorce, then that I moved down. I moved to Louisiana. I live in Louisiana right now. It was about, I would say, a 6 to 8 month time frame where I actually decided to relocate and basically changed every changed my whole life, my whole surroundings. I didn't know a soul. Well, I knew my realtors when I got here and a couple of friends here, people I knew that actually got me here in the first place. But other than that, I didn't know anyone. It was a year before anyone even recognized me, that I knew anyone.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was fierce. Fierce. Totally fierce. I'm just here to tell you that in case you didn't remember. Lord. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, because that was a lot. I mean, you went through, um, a divorce,
Yeah.
your mom,
Yeah.
and your job. Your
Yes.
job,
Yes.
it left you.
Yes. It's like, what else? What else is going to be taken? I, I call it a
Wow.
true Job experience. That's what I call
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes. Now, is your father still with us?
Yes, Dad is. Thankfully, yes,
Good.
he's still in Illinois,
Good.
and
Good.
yes, he's
Does he love your paintings and everything? I'm
well.
proud
That
of
he
you.
understands, as far as my
Huh?
painting
What'd you say?
goes. That
I
the
know.
part that he understands, yes. But
Yes.
he's
Yes.
always very supportive. My family is very supportive. My siblings of me and my transformation, and just it's really interesting because I was thinking this earlier. 6 years ago, I was not this person at all. Not at all. I didn't look
Wow.
like this. There's nothing in my life now that resembles what I was.
Yes.
And so if you
Mm,
make a decision, sometimes you have these goals, and I have these vision boards, and just, Lord, send me wherever. I'll do what you want me to do. And it's almost like, oh, really? Really? You do whatever I want you to do? You'll go where I want you to go? You will? Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Bring it on. Woo. So
wow.
yeah, but it's all
And then
worth it.
you just said, okay. I love how you just surrendered. You just said, wherever. I'm
I'm
ready.
sold out.
Wow. So you went all the way from the South, which I'm from Chicago, as we found out the other day.
Yes.
I was like, we're both from Chicago. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And
Yes.
most people from Chicago do not enjoy that cold. Let me just tell you.
Okay. I was
It's
just
like,
wondering because I don't want to have it anymore.
I know, I know. I feel the same. That's why I'm very prone to the South area.
Yes.
I love the South.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, I mean, what a beautiful story. And your when you told your husband at that time that you wanted to leave, at that time were you painting? Were you
I
into
really
painting?
wasn't. My I had I we had just moved into what I call my dream house, and
Yeah.
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to the painting. I was going to get to that like I had started a few years prior.
Yes.
So I had them upstairs in this nice rec room, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get to that.
Yes.
And then once the separation divorce happened, there were these huge gaps of blank space in my life. That was the
Mm-hmm.
biggest challenge for me. What do I do with my time? What
Mm-hmm.
all the time when you're married to someone, you be there's a lot of time that goes into being in a relationship, conversations, preparations, thought process, and all of a
Yes.
sudden I just had this what I call just blank spaces. I just felt lost. What do I do? So I started to dabble a little bit. Then I thought, well, maybe I should paint. Maybe I should get those out and start doing that again. And I was
Yes.
dabbling. And then once I moved and my mom passed, and then the job was gone, I was like, just total dive into it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think that a lot of women who are listening to you right now are probably extremely inspired by your making the decision, being the champion, and jumping. Because I do think, I know when I was married, I think we get as women somehow, I don't think men get lost in their relationship, but I think women, we get lost
Yes.
in the mix
Yes.
of that, and we look up and we're like, who am I?
Yes.
Who I don't know who I am
Yes.
anymore. And we do whatever they need us to do and all that.
Yes.
And I do think that there needs to be a little bit of a balance,
Yes.
so that because we are who we are, but
Yeah.
it's we need to remember that while we're in it, which I don't know why it's so challenging to
Yeah.
do.
I think it's conditioning. I mean, my mother told me when early in my marriage, "No, you don't you go to school now. You wait. You just wait before you go get your degree, okay? Let him get his degree." And then I said, "Okay," you know.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so what happened is that everything about my who I was authentically switched off.
Yes.
It just switched
Me
off.
too.
And
Yes.
so my whole goal in life was to help him be who he's supposed to be and create and create and create and pour and pour and pour. And long
Yeah.
as I was like that accessory on the side, that's fine, just
Yes.
because that's what mom told me. That's what everyone around me is doing. But I could see, I've always been a very creative person, but I could see in others like, wow, there's gifts there. Well, I would like to do this and do that, but that wasn't allowed to express who you are. And I want young women and just women in general that God is not upset with you if you become who He's called you to be. Even if He's
I think
called
I'm
you to
gonna cry.
support some,
I think I'm gonna cry. That is so.
yeah,
I know, it's so. I mean, Tanya, it feels like we're trying to be who we are. It feels like we're tearing ourselves away from some DNA or something. It's kind of painful. It's kind of like it upsets everything
yeah,
because we're not accustomed to that. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
yeah. No,
Sorry.
no, no. You're right. It's so how the when I first knew that I had to get out of the marriage, just the thought of it, it's like, oh, what are you thinking on your own? Are you coming up with original thoughts?
Oh,
Because at my job, I had original thoughts. I worked in management, I had ideas, and I was respected and paid for it.
yes.
But in my personal life, it wasn't that way.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I can relate totally, totally.
Yes.
I'm not crying because I probably
I
want to
feel
see an
like, yeah,
ugly cry, but yes, but I totally and marriage is awesome.
yes,
But I just think the real challenge for women is to make sure you don't lose yourself, but not to become the man's role, but to remember. I
yes,
guess that's what I'm trying to say is to remember who you are
yes,
and what you have to offer
yes,
our great world,
yes,
because we do lose that. Because I thought I'm supposed to be a mother, I'm supposed to be a wife,
yeah.
I'm supposed to be, and I actually had. And it's probably because I wasn't owning who I was. I actually had two miscarriages,
Mm,
and because I don't think, I think I lost. They say that if there's no space in your life,
mm,
that the children won't come.
mm.
Uh, and I feel like I, it's like I had this moment of these years of amnesia and forgetting who I really, really
Yeah,
was. And I mean,
yeah.
like I said, marriage is awesome.
It is.
And I think it really works when both parties are in alignment, in
Yes,
agreement. You
yes,
go do you, Tanya. You just do you, girl.
yes,
You just be you.
yes,
And then you tell them that, but we both support each other.
yes,
But it's not like, but I think what we do, we completely, as women, we turn
yes,
towards the man to support him in everything,
yes.
and we forget totally.
Just
And I
totally,
think it's
totally disappear. Uh, you become invisible. You're an extension of them. But what I learned was that God called me to do a specific work. I was a mother. Yes, I had those different seasons, but I would be remiss if I didn't honor and do what He told me to do as well, as far as my ministry. I have a mandate, I have a personal mandate to carry out what my life has been called to be. And it's
yes,
not optional.
yes. No, I know. I
And
know.
so,
Exactly.
and I know it's scary because we're not conditioned that way a lot of times as little girls, but
No.
we all have a
Right.
purpose, and it's not to deplete yourself all the time and disappear because we're too valuable
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
So,
So once you moved to Shreveport,
yes,
Shreveport,
yes,
did you just feel so alive and like you're like,
yeah,
I mean, and you're painting again, right?
yes. I at first I was terrified.
Yes, of course. I know. Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
I was terrified, but I was excited at the same time because I got married when I was just 18 years old. I went from
Wow.
my mother's house to being married. I being alone was such an odd feeling.
Yes.
So, but at the same time, I understand it took this time of a lot of journaling, crying, a lot of crying, um, soul
Yes.
searching, still doing that,
Yes. Me
to
too.
find out what it is that God wanted me to do personally. I would say the number one thing is to get to know Him better
Yes.
of all things. But yeah, when I first got here, I didn't know anybody, so it was kind of cool though.
You know what? I gotta tell you, it is because it gives you this silence. It's like you don't have to people please anyone. You don't have to be at this place or that place. You're like, I could just be with God.
Yep,
I could just be with myself right now.
yep,
And that's so funny because I actually went to another country while I was going through a while I was going through a hard time, and it was kind of cool because I didn't speak the language, and I just needed that
yeah,
time where
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just being. I don't have to be for
You have
anyone
to be
else.
you don't have to pretend. I
Right.
actually began to take joy. I would observe families and I would eavesdrop on their conversations and what they're going.
I
I would
love
just
that.
and I still do that. I find it fascinating because I know that was my life at one time, but I take pleasure and joy in seeing that. And
Yes. Yes.
I it's just interesting that I just felt like I could just sit back and watch and observe people's lives. And I will
Yes.
never, if I ever get remarried or whatever, that's something. This is season I will never ever forget because I appreciate that the bonding, human interaction. And I often wonder, do people really know how special that is? You're going home uh, with mom, and do you really understand how special that is? But
Right?
yeah,
Right? I know, exactly. I agree.
yeah,
So, what would be the thing right now? I mean, you're painting, so you like have found yourself, as they say, because we do. We need to do that. We need to like remember who we are.
yeah.
What would you say? Like, what would be like your biggest thing that you would say to women? I'm sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
That you would say to women right now
I would
for
say,
being an artist, being who they are.
yeah,
Yeah.
that a lot of times, like people, I get questions a lot about, well, what is my purpose? And what am I supposed to do? And what I've learned is that your purpose is linked to your desires of things you like the most and things you dislike the most. And sometimes we get into
Mm,
vocations and occupations out of necessity and convenience.
yes.
And
Yes.
but we're not
Yes.
satisfied. We're discomfortable because there's
Oh,
so many artists, writers, and we're told, well, no, you're getting too excited now. Don't start
right.
getting beside yourself. You know,
Right.
I would
I
just
know,
I would just
right?
tell women, you know what it is that you want to do,
Mm,
and don't be afraid of that want, because God put the desire inside of you. And he said he would give you
mm,
the desires of your heart, but he put the desires there in the first place. Don't be surprised if your deepest desire is not linked to your purpose. That's what I would tell them. It may sound crazy and way out there, but don't be surprised if it's not your purpose, your true purpose.
wow. That's everything. That is everything. Oh my gosh. Well, Tanya, I could go on forever and talk with you,
Yes,
but I know we do have to go and we do
yes,
have our lives.
yes,
But I would like for you to know how grateful I am. And I would like for my viewers to get to know you and to follow her on her Facebook page. And she's on Instagram. Her Instagram, I will make sure that I note that when I post the video. But you guys, this is a special soul. And I think that right now, through everything that we're going through, we kind of need to like hear stories about
yeah,
how did she go from here to there? How did you do that? And even if we know how to do it, it's just good to hear that inspiration.
yes.
It's like-minded people.
Hmm.
So, wow, Yolanda, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so grateful. You are phenomenal. And I'm just honored. Words can't express. I'm just honored. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I love your lashes. I couldn't get mine on today. I couldn't
I was
find mine
working on them.
actually. They look, I can hear them batting over here. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at those. I love lashes. Like, I love them. So that's why I wore bangs today. I'm like, I couldn't do my lashes today. So, anyway, but so you all make sure you follow Yolanda Barnes,
Yes,
okay? She's on Facebook and on
yes. And I
Instagram.
also have a
And
Facebook page, Yolanda Barnes Art, and it's
yes,
why the artist on Instagram. So thank you.
yes, yes. So don't forget. And if you need to ask me, but your name is here and everything. But and her art and her website is just, she has prints. She also sells masks that
Yes,
she made mask, and she makes a wrap to go with the mask.
yes,
So go to her website and I will post that if you text that to me.
yes.
Is it Yolanda Barnes? I
It's
forgot. I've new to it.
YolandaBarnesArt.com.
YolandaBarnesArt.com.
Yes,
Because this is our time. It doesn't mean that we need to squelch who we are, and it doesn't mean that we need to be the man
right.
in in relationships. It
Correct.
just means that we have to remember who we
Who we
are.
really are.
That's all.
Yes,
That's it.
yes,
So Yolanda, thank you. It has been great.
yes.
I feel like I've known you all my life.
I
I feel
know.
like we were little kids growing up or something. I
Yes.
really love it. So thank you so much,
Thank you so
really.
much,
And
Paige.
thank you all. And gosh, I should put on my glasses because I don't know if anyone asked questions because I
I don't
couldn't
have my
see that
glasses
far.
on either, so
I know. So I'm like, let me see if I could see. I don't know if anyone, let me see. Uh, oh, Wendy. Wendy's going to do my lashes. Yes, Wendy, I need you to do my lashes. Let me see. Your deepest desires probably linked to your purpose. Wow. Yeah, she quoted what you said. She
awesome.
said that is phenomenal.
Awesome.
Um, what else? Hey, Annette. Oh my goodness, all these beautiful people. Jessica, Alvin, Angela. Let me see. Did anyone ask you a question? Oh, here's one. Is there any advice for how to really hear God when his purpose is for you? I feel lost in my life right now.
Mm. I would say my advice during that time is that you just you don't have to worry about how you feel. When I went through that dry spell, I just sat out on the patio and looked at the clouds. So just like, okay, that's a nice cloud. What do you want to talk about? You know, um,
I love
even though your feelings may not, your feelings can fool you. But I would say, I would encourage you to always know that yes, God is with you. He may not always speak to you the way that you think, or when you think he should. But during those times, I have different methods. I read God's word. I keep myself in a positive space. I try not to talk to people that there's a lot of negativity going around. I do a lot of writing and journaling, a lot of that, because out of the writing and journaling, he'll speak to me often through that, and I'll get ideas through that, or someone will call me, or something will happen. So and I do vision boards, and when I get really desperate, I fast, and I have posters of all of my house when I really want to train my subconscious to to see something. So I put things up when I really want things to shift. So I would say keep pressing. You're on the because you have that desire is a good thing, and that's a sign that your desires are actually putting you in the right direction. Because other than that, you would just be numb. And I don't think if you have desires, you're not numb, and your life is not over.
Wow. Woo! I love that, Yolanda. Let me just make sure that is
I
there
hope that
anything
helps.
else? Let's see. Someone said they're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Um, someone said, "Oh, Sharon. Sharon is my yoga instructor and very, very dear friend." She said, "What a beautiful lady. I believe spirit leads us to decisions. Once we make that decision, the solution." Oh, wait, it's more to
Mm,
it. Once we make, she said, "Thank you for sharing your story and your artistic talents with the world."
mm, thank you.
That's what Sharon,
Thank you.
Nona Sharon, she is just,
Thank you,
she is
Sharon.
fantastic. She is awesome. And let's see, I think that's it. I might have missed, and anyone, if I've missed any questions, just, you could post them if you don't mind. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, all of you. Have a beautiful rest of the Sunday. And you guys, this was sponsored by the Frida Collection. And
Thank you.
if you have any questions for Yolanda, if you can't reach her, just text me and I'll text it to her, whatever needs to happen, because this is our time,
Yes.
ladies. It
Mm,
really is. Thank you, Yolanda.
thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Paige.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to click finish and then we are gone. All right. Goodbye, everyone. And
Bye.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great Sunday, you guys. I'm going to get some ice cream. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.